Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to Iron on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron, and this is episode 254. Oh, Lord, I'm back again. The rhyming thing wasn't something that I wanted to do every week, but because it annoys Aaron, I'm going to continue to do it. But also, Aaron's not here. And I don't think he listens to the show after the fact, so I guess rhyming to annoy him was pointless. But this podcast isn't pointless. You're not pointless. You're listening to me. Riding solo this week, and we're going to talk some wrestling stuff. I'm going to have a special guest on the show this week. It's my brother and professional wrestler, Zachary Thomas. Zach Thomas to some. Some have been calling him Zach Iron because we've been teaming together. So we're going to catch up on some things. I mean, I see him all the time, but you haven't heard from him in a while on this podcast, and he doesn't do a lot of podcasts. So we might talk some 440 stuff, some pro wrestling figure stuff, some house stuff that we've been working on. It's going to be enthralling. You're going to be happy that you listened. If you're listening for free on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts for free, thank you so much. This is Wednesday as you're listening, August 14th, 2024, if you listen to it on the day it came out. But you can get this stuff a day early if you go over to patreon.com/ironandwrestling. Usually it's a day early. Sometimes it's hours earlier, but you're always going to get something extra from me. Even if you go back in the archives, some weeks I haven't done extra stuff, to be honest, but it's usually an extended version of podcast or a bonus version on top of the podcast. Patreon.com/ironandwrestling, where you get a buttload of bonus content starting at just $3. You can get bonus video for $5. You get bonus podcast subjects and questions prioritized at $9. But more importantly, you get to chat with me live, baby, live, in a StreamYard chat once a month where I talk about stuff that I will never, ever, 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 ever talk about on the podcast. And I think the people on Patreon could speak to this, that they're closer than most of my family. Even though I'm creating a family wall of portraits over in my hallway right now, I haven't hung up any of the Patreon members, but don't worry, I will find a special place in the house for each and every one of you in some form or fashion because I love you guys that much. It supports the show in the best way possible, and it supports Aaron and I. And we can't thank you enough for that. But, if you are listening on August 14th at 10 p.m., I've probably just finished or am in the midst of finishing up festivities with one of my best friends, and a guy who is almost like my brother, Johnny Gargano. And it's his birthday. He is on this day, I believe, off the top of my head without looking at his Wikipedia, 37, because he's a little younger than me. Do I have that right? I'm going to look at his Wikipedia now, but I'm pretty sure he's 37 because I turned 38 in October, but assuming that no catastrophic occurrences happened, I gave him his birthday gifts, and I'd like to think that they were pretty spiffy, and we'll actually be posting them over on the social media accounts at Iron on Wrestling. So make sure you follow that. And, you know, who knows, we might have some bonus stuff over on Patreon for the subscribers there. But so here's what I gifted him this year. I was pretty stoked about this. And, you know, I'm saddened that he wasn't on the SummerSlam card, but he was a big part of the SummerSlam festivities in Cleveland a couple weeks ago. And so to sort of commemorate that, I wasn't able to get him a SummerSlam 1996 chair. Okay? SummerSlam 1996 occurred, if you don't know, in Cleveland, Ohio, 28 years ago. And, but even though I couldn't get him the chair now, I was able to acquire a small sentimental gift from that event and from a chair. Back in the day when you would get a chair, they would also include like a little bronze or gold, you know, I don't know, a carving cut out like you would on a trophy that basically says, almost like a nameplate. I don't know why I'm not remembering the name of whatever the hell this is, but basically it's the thing that says one of 450 of the SummerSlam chairs. So he's got the little placard of it. He just needs the chair now, okay? So that's a small thing that didn't cost me too much, but I did get that from the personal collection of Mark Yeaton. Do you remember Mark Yeaton? He was the former bell ringer for the WWF back in the day, and he saved a lot of personal and collectible possessions from the WWF days and the WWE days. And there was something else that I got him that I'll get back to in a second from Mark Yeaton. Another thing that I got him was a vintage, I believe it's 1992 X-Men poster. Now, this is right before the cartoon came out, so the characters depicted on the poster are from the comic book and not the animated series. It's pretty badass looking. I found it actually on Facebook Marketplace for quite a steal. And the reason why I grabbed it is when I saw it, I was like, man, this looks really cool. And I love doing my investigative research on vintage posters, particularly wrestling, but other things like comic books and whatnot. And as it turns out, this X-Men poster goes for a nice little penny, actually, the original version. Somewhere in the range of like, on average, about $70-ish bucks. Some people try to bust it up to over $100 on the internet in good condition. But I was able to get this on Marketplace for quite a steal, and I got myself from the same person who just lived 2 minutes down the street from me in Parma, Ohio, a vintage Spider-Man poster from the same time frame with a little brick background and everything. It's pretty sweet. But I wanted to gift the X-Men poster to Johnny for his birthday. But the last thing that I got him, I guess it's one of two things. I got him a toy from the WWF 1997 Playmates collection. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you know anything about toys, you probably remember that Jakks had the license for action figures, but you might forget that Playmates, the same company that made things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, actually had a separate license to release certain types of WWF action figures. And in 1997, they released a series of figures called World Wrestling Federation Grudge Match, where they have these almost mini-type figures that, on the packaging, claims head-to-head bone-crunching action. And they kind of look a little hunchback, or like they're doing a bunch of shoulder shrugs hunched over. They're weird-looking figures. It comes with a little mini ring. If you read the back of the package, which I'm holding right now because even though you are listening to this on Johnny's birthday, it's the day before and I haven't gifted this to him yet. It says, face off your favorite wrestlers in title-making and breaking matches. Each comes with 2 articulated figures in a mini ring with spring-back wrestling ring ropes. It's head-to-head, no-holds-barred wrestling. Each figure sold separately, subject to availability, of course. Let the match begin. Pull your grudge match wrestling figure back against the ring ropes to send him flying into his opponents. I guess I could see how this is sort of different than your average Jakks figures, but not really. But it was probably a nice little side toy to buy for $5 or $6 back in the 90s. They featured quite a few sets. Yokozuna and Ahmed Johnson, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker and Mankind, Psycho Sid and Vader, Goldust and Savio Vega. But the set that I bought Johnny, of course, because his favorite is Shawn Michaels, would be that of Shawn Michaels versus Owen Hart. Now, why did I buy him this mini 2-pack of figures by Playmates? Well, as it turns out, I stumbled across from Mark Eden's personal collection. For some reason, he just happened to have the prototype figure of the Shawn Michaels that is in this 2-pack. That's right, the original painted by hand prototype of HBK. Again, I'll post pictures of this on the social media accounts. I paid a pretty penny for it, and I think I'm going to write Johnny a note and give it to him. But Gargano has done a lot for me over the years, and sometimes, the only way I feel like I can make up for these things is by showing my gratitude to people by listening and going above and beyond what they probably expect they should be getting for their birthday or for Christmas or whatever the occasion may be. Johnny has always been there for me as a friend, as a brother, and back in the day when things were financially rough for me, he was there for me financially. And so now that I'm in a better place in my life, I want to do what I can for him. And sometimes when you have a buddy that works for the WWE, it's hard to, what can you get for someone that they can't get for themselves, right, if they want to. And so I try to find little niche things that are maybe hard to come by or one of one. And so that's what I did for my friend Johnny. Even though bestest friend Mike out there is probably listening to this on Patreon, and he's thinking, I watched Johnny's Cleveland vlog and you weren't featured in it. Yeah, I don't watch his vlog. So maybe that's punishment for not being featured in it. Or maybe he just doesn't think I'm cool enough to be in his vlog. I don't know. But it's fine. No hard feelings. I'll always love and be there for Johnny Gargano. And I'll always be and love you, bestest friend Mike. So no ill will any way, shape, or form. While I'm talking about stuff that I've bought recently, real quick, before we go to the interview with Zach Thomas, I want to point something out, okay? And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I was on eBay a few days ago, and I have a couple of Marty McFly and Doc Brown figures from Back to the Future in my living room, okay? I have like a theater-themed living room of sorts with various movie posters and movie memorabilia, things of that nature. And so I have the two figures, and I have a license plate. This is out of time, so to go with it, I wanted a DeLorean to put on the shelf. So I go on eBay and I find the scale card that I need, and it's $9.99 or best offer, $9.99 or best offer to buy this DeLorean toy. Okay, so I'm thinking, what's a reasonable price to offer for this DeLorean? So I go $7. Okay, seems fair. Offers declined. I go $8. Offers declined. I think to myself, we're really cutting it close here, but I guess I'm gonna go $9. And would you believe that the person selling this said a counter offer of $9.99? And I was trying to restrain my annoyance, but I couldn't help myself. And I sent them a message. And I said, just curious, Why would you put best offer if you wanted $9.99? I really want to know. And this person never wrote me back. But you know what? Even if they would have wrote me back with something well thought out, logical even, which I somehow doubt it could be logical, I would have wrote them back and said, you know what? Out of pure principle, I will pay double from someone else. Because why would you list something with a best offer option if you're not going to take the best offer? If there's a certain dollar amount you want, just put that dollar amount. Just put $9.99, for Christ's sakes. So I ended up buying one on eBay for $20. Wasn't kidding. And I just got it in the mail today, and it is the wrong scale. So I bought a DeLorean that is too small for my figures, and now it looks really awkward on my shelf. So who's the winner in this one? Probably the guy that made $20. I'm going to guess here, because it's not me. So I'll post a picture of that too, me and my overly tiny DeLorean. But I'm done rambling. Let's pay some bills. When we come back, we'll go to the interview with Zach Thomas, and we'll answer some of your questions from social media. And who knows what kind of bonus. We might even do many of those in a bonus, so we can give you guys on Patreon some extra stuff this week, because I've been busy with some house stuff, and my brother Sean's coming into town. I'm going to get to see him this weekend. It's a crazy week, and my ribs are still hurting me, but you know what? I want to give you Patreon people the things that you deserve. So when we come back from paying these bills, interview with Zach Thomas and maybe some extras. Are you on a health and wellness journey? Well, then you should probably be taking that journey with TNT Health. TNT-health.com, proud sponsor of the Iron on Wrestling podcast. Their products are inspired by the people and world around them. We have an incredible collection of the best and top-rated brands out there. The quality goods that we carry are designed especially for our customers' needs, helping you to meet your health and fitness goals. But we're more than just your average online retailer, and we work to make your life more enjoyable. TNT Health has definitely made my life more enjoyable and easier over the past few months that I've been investing in their products. And you know what? When you're not just investing in their products, you're investing in results for yourself. I love using the creatine before I work out, the glutamine for post-workout recovery, the vegan protein on their website, vanilla flavored, that I mix into with water, which, look, if you've ever mixed protein with water, it's disgusting, but not this stuff. It's so easy. It dissolves great, and it only takes a few seconds of my time to get to the consistency that I want with the shake, and it gives me the results physically that I want. And there's a variety of things that you can purchase on TNT-health.com. Fat burners, muscle building supplements, protein, of course, pre-workout, pro hormones, healthy living options like amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, and so much more. So check out TNT-health.com. It's free to look, but not only are the items cost efficient, but you could save 10% extra if you use our promo code IRONON. That's IRONON, and save 10% on anything you buy. So what are you waiting for? TNT-health.com. It's about your health today, not tomorrow. While we're paying these bills, I guess we got to talk about Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs. Juan has been a good buddy of the show for a long, long time. But maybe he should be a good buddy of yours, because Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs has been making artwork for almost 2 decades, and he's made some artwork for some pretty prolific individuals. In fact, most of the champions you're going to see on television right now, Juan Ortiz has made artwork for them. That's no exaggeration. You should check out Juan's social media, because you'll see with his proof that He's not making this up, okay? I mean, he's done stuff for Ethan Page. He's done stuff for... He's designed literally all the MLW shirt promo designs on the website right now, if you check that out. Have you heard of Cody Rhodes? He's designed things for him. Gunther. Swerve Strickland, the Young Bucks. There's so many guys. Check out his page. Look at the photos. Look at the designs and get a design for yourself, whether it's something for yourself, a friend, a family member, a loved one, a logo for your company or business. Juan Ortiz can do it all, and he can do it all at a cost-efficient price, because even though he's making designs for some of the top stars in the wrestling industry, you can become a top star in Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs life. Yes, go check him out right now, and make sure you mention Iron on Wrestling, because you'll save $20 on your first design. So not only is his prices already great, but he's going to make them even greater with $20 knocked off the top. So go check him out. Of the Dead Designs on Instagram, facebook.com/ofthedeaddesigns, or go to his website, ofthedead.weebly.com, because Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs is bringing artwork to life. With me at this time, a longtime dear, close personal friend and confidant, also my brother.
Pardon the interruption.
No, come on, I'm trying to avoid this week. Actually, Aaron has COVID. I didn't mention that at the top of the show. Probably should have.
Ooh.
Yeah.
COVID's not fun, man.
Did you get it?
I'm pretty sure I got it before it was like a known thing, because I had a lot of the symptoms like months before.
Like what?
Well, couldn't taste, couldn't smell.
Oh.
Didn't throw up or anything like that, but like I had real bad body sweat, or like cold sweats.
Okay.
And really bedridden for like a week or so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's rough.
I wasn't like hospital dying, but
yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
What's your track record with throwing up?
Throwing up?
Yeah. When's the last time you threw up? Because I haven't thrown up since I was like 17 or 18. Legit. People think that's crazy when I say that.
I do think that's crazy. I think like the last vivid time was with Verdi on the road. It was from, where's the H2O Center? Jersey, right?
New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, so went to Wawa, Buffalo Chicken Quesadilla. Literally 2 hours before getting to his house, I get freaking food poisoning, to the point where we're like so close, dude. I mean, like, we could have just traveled and just went, but I had to literally get off at the side of a road, to the point where like it was literally on the highway, and just start throwing up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you know like that it's food poisoning? Because I was just thinking about this recently, and I'm like, when people say that, I'm like, I don't think I've ever had food poisoning. Like, I don't like.
You just, I don't know if it's like it is, but it's more so of an assumption, because one, I'm throwing up the exact food that I ate like 5 hours ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I guess like I think of it as like the food digested after a while, and then that's what made me throw up, because there's no other reason why I would have just randomly threw up.
Well, I think I also have an iron stomach. I think we've talked about this personally before.
Yeah, that's weird too.
I eat some real questionable things sometimes.
Sometimes the cow's still moving.
And other times, like, the cow's been dead for entirely too long.
Too long.
So sometimes I'm dragging out some chicken that I meal prepped for like 6 days.
Can't let it go to waste, so I guess.
Yeah, I got to get that protein. You brought up Verdi, Dread King Logan.
Yeah.
Right now he's out with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate.
Absolutely.
In his absence, though, since you didn't have a tag team partner, we've teamed a little bit. Over the last year, you became a member of 440.
Yes, sir.
So, while some things that you were doing are on a little hiatus, I feel like you're doing some other pretty cool things in wrestling. Where do you feel like you're at right now in pro wrestling? How are you feeling about the teaming and the 440 stuff?
Well, I think teaming with you is a surreal moment, because you're the reason I got into wrestling. So if you would have told me when I first started that we would be teaming, 8-9 years into me wrestling, I would have told you that you're crazy. Because, I don't know, we just didn't have a good relationship when I first got into wrestling.
Yeah.
But teaming with you is cool because it's, like you said the one time, like, you're used to having tag teams that are working for years and years, but, like, it's kind of different when it's a brother and brother teaming because then you just kind of have chemistry already and it just seems easier, It flows more.
Sure.
But also being in 440 with Atticus and Otis and Eddie Only and Eric Ryan and all them, it's cool because that's who I started wrestling with. Me, Atticus, and Otis trained together. Eddie Only ended up training with us for a little bit. So it's cool to kind of like be able to actually be back together and traveling together and just having fun with wrestling.
What was your level of fun before?
With wrestling?
Yeah.
There was no fun. It was kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah. Well, other than you and Dread King.
Well, yeah, me and Verdi had a lot of fun, or Logan, I should say. Because we ended up growing a bond just through life and going through struggles. And not only that, but just finding out that we're very similar when it comes to, like, I guess, I don't know, just mentality-wise. I mean, I learn a lot from him. He learns a lot from me. It's
What would you say that you've learned from him?
just a lot of life advice. A lot of he's.
What's the biggest thing?
Sorry, Logan. I can't give you an exact moment. I mean, it's just a lot of things that just kind of happen. Like, I learned from what he does or stuff of that sort. Sorry, Logan, but he's 40 years old, and I'm 26, so he has a lot more life experience. But not only that, in wrestling, he's helped me, like, be more confident and in the sense of just, like, promos, but also, like, in ring, like, being able to be vocal and, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't look 40. I feel like 40 is
No,
new
that's
30.
the wild part, because everybody asks him, he's like, how old are you? And they always assume, like, 30s, and when he goes 40, everybody's like, that's not true at all.
Yeah.
But
and then the opposite, people walk up to you and go, did I go to high school with you? I graduated in 2004.
That's true. Well, no, I was born in 97, so just have a receding hairline. Sorry.
Oh, God. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I've been really enjoying teaming with you. I'm hoping we get to do it a lot more. And yeah, that chemistry is there. It's pretty cool. Obviously, with my ribs being broken from literally our first outing as a tag team, I'm hoping that I can recover quickly so that way we can get back out there and doing it. But on this hiatus from working out and wrestling a little bit, and since our schedules don't conflict as much living in the same place, we've been working on a lot of house stuff, and the home remodeling game has I think it's been a learning experience for both of us. I'm kind of I'm more of the money guy more so than the remodeler guy.
Yeah, so you pay for it, I'll do the manual labor. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's just not my forte, but one of the things through you that, like, I was looking at from an outsider's perspective, had a little bit of stuff, but I felt like I was sort of out of the game, even though it's something that I appreciate reading about and watching. The toy game, particularly with the wrestlers. Once we moved back in together, I caught the fever. I always collected the Hasbros, and obviously some of the guys on the Patreon have had conversations with me about stuff. We've had Nerd Rock Josh on the show back in the day, and he's got if you ever go to Texas Wrestle, you've got to hang out with Josh because he's got all the fucking elites out of the package on shelf in his house. Like, it's wild. I don't know if there's anything he's missing.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's got everything. But when I moved back in with you, I saw your little collection. I was like, maybe I should start collecting some of these. And I found like a Stone Cold Ultimate because I felt like I didn't have enough Stone Cold memorabilia, even though I have too much wrestling memorabilia as it is. And then it just snowballed from there.
Well, you can blame Ethan Page for me getting toys.
Is that the reason?
Well, because I would always watch his toy hunts, so every week, and that just was like, oh, well, I'm going to start collecting, and then little by little, it just came more and more. At first, it was just going to be the Funko Pops, like the WWE versions, and like here and there, some of the occasional things I like Turtles or like, the heck is it, Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of sad if you think about it. You moved in, I only had, let's say, 20. All of a sudden, you have 50 more than I do.
Yeah, well, because like it's unfortunate. Like I'm kind of a completist. I like to try to be a completist. So when I started going down that rabbit hole, I ended up getting like a Defining Moments Stone Cold, but I also got that Ultimate Stone Cold. So I had this moment of like, one of them I needed to collect them all, okay, and I wasn't sure which one. But as I started looking at the Defining Moments, and I don't know how much you've investigated on like some of these other different types of categories in the WWE Mattel game, but when I started looking at Defining Moments, something that turned me off about it, and guys, if you're not into toys and nerd shit like this, you might as well shut off the show, because it's going to be like, wow, this guy's a fucking loser. Some of the Defining Moments figures, I noticed, like, they would have an exact date, right? And I was into that. But then other ones, it was just like, I don't know, like it's not the same labeling. It's not like exact dates, or like you kind of have to like assume the moment. I don't know how to explain it, but like when
I was gonna say sometimes they'll do that with figures. It seems like nowadays they'll put them in certain gear, but the date and stuff on the back has nothing remotely to do with what gear they're wearing. I feel like
but like my thing was like on the front of the packaging they were putting the dates, like this is the exact moment this particular defining moment happened, right? But then other ones they didn't do that, so I was like, well, there's not consistency with it. And so that, I don't know, I thought there's more variety with the Ultimates. I like the packaging, and unfortunately that's the path I decided to go down. And I think, geez, I mean, without going down there and counting, I'm pretty sure I started buying around July or August last year.
Yeah,
does that sound about right?
You started with what, Ultimates though, or did you more so want to get Ultimates versus the Elites though?
Well,
I mean, you have a lot of Elites, but
I have some Elites in certain gear, but like after that Stone Cold Ultimate, since then I probably have about easily 70 of the Ultimates, and that's almost the entire collection at this point.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like now I'm falling behind, because I need to pump the brakes a little bit, and they've just been releasing like 3 or 4 other sets of Ultimates. They're on like Ultimate 21, 22, 23.
Yeah,
I'm still collecting those retros. For you, after you seen Julian's blog, what way did you start diving into the thing? You said Funko, but then, like, what made you start branching out? Like, were there specific categories you started going for? I know that you started to acquire a Scott Hall collection.
Yeah, a big Scott Hall collection. I don't know, really. I feel like it just kind of, I seen the Funkos, but then I guess, like, this was the time where I started realizing, actually looking in detail at the Elites and stuff, and a lot of them actually look good. And not only that, so, like, most of them you get the changeable hands and stuff. I mean, I'm a person that keeps the stuff in box, because I feel like you take the stuff out, but you want to keep the box, and then you still have the figures. What do you do with the box? You know what I mean?
But it is nice, though, the way they package it, where they make it to where you can open it and display it if you want, and then put it back in. Like, I liked how they recently changed the packaging on the retros. Like, some of the packaging I kept, but some of the ones I just opened, like the DX retros and stuff, I tossed the package. But they make it to where instead of peeling the bubble off,
it's literally just like a fold.
You could just pop it off and then put it back on if you want, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly fuck it. Kind of just went down a rabbit hole where I, Five-Finger discounted some from
Whoa,
somewhere.
what the hell?
Not a store, but at a show. I was like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. I got gypped, so I'm just gonna,
Oh,
they
so,
had
so you got ripped off.
Yeah.
And so you decided, like, I'm
so
going
it's
to
like, oh, they got a shop downstairs where no one ever buys anything. So I think like one of the very first ones was like one of those old. They have the 3D glasses. It's like a Benoit, and then I got like an Elite Kevin Owens.
Okay. A Benoit 3D glasses?
Yeah, it's like an old figure.
Okay, I'm going to look this up while you're talking. Keep going.
A 1-2-3 Kid Elite, and I think that was it. But that's what kind of started it, and then it just kind of branched out to. I don't necessarily get full sets, but there have been a couple, like the recent SummerSlam release that they did with like Taker in them. I got that.
Yes, with Luger, Taker,
Kane,
and X-Pac,
Yeah.
all from SummerSlam. Is it the R3 Tech
Let me see.
Benoit?
Yeah.
What is the 3D thing about
I don't
it?
know.
Because
I
it doesn't-
never knew what it did.
It doesn't really explain on the package. It says nothing about 3D. It just says bring your figures to life with real reaction sets. And this is a Jack specific. This is a pretty old one. Before the Mattel thing, obviously, I don't think there's any Mattel Benoit figures.
No.
because
Yeah,
they
sorry.
didn't get that until like 2011.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the 3D component would be here. But anyway, so you got the SummerSlam collection.
Well, also think about it too. Like I had a lot of figures that were unopened way before like collecting.
Well,
So like,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
always had figures, but
Yeah.
like they were all not used basically. So like
I mean, you had a bunch of sweet figures because after I got out of the toy game, like playing with them as a kid, my friend / prom date Sarah, her sister, collected a bunch of wrestlers. She was a couple years younger than Sarah, and she didn't want them anymore. So she was like, "What does your brother want these?" So like, you got a shit ton of cool Jax figures from back in the day, but I think you've since parted with those.
yeah, I got rid of them because it's kind of just a waste, not a waste of space, but I wasn't gonna put them up or anything. So,
But also, like, back in the day, like, I used to think the Jax figures were sweet, but Mattel just blows them out of the water now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you compare them next to each other, like, especially, like, because I collect some of those classic Superstars figures from Jax, it's like...
who was Jax? Did they make the deluxe aggression ones? Because those were the ones that were
Yeah.
basically their elites. See, like I like those ones, but like if you just give me the standard Jax, there's no
Yeah.
like limb movement. It's kind of
Yeah. They look
But
like
also,
dog
I'm not playing with them at 26 unless I need a spot to come up with.
shit. Okay. Yeah. That is funny because when we planned when we had to plan out the match we did for the movie Powerbomb, me and M-Dog, the director had us go to his house and sit on the front porch, and he had a wrestling ring and action figures.
Yeah.
And he was like, show me what you guys are going to do. And I'm like, oh, all right, this is like a real thing that we're doing right now. So I'm like, I'm not sure why we're doing this with figures. But it worked.
That's the way you come up with new moves
Yeah.
or spots, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't think you come up with
Well,
ones
you
that way,
don't come up with them, but you come up with these scenarios that you could do in the ring.
Give me a scenario you came up with action figures that you then did in a ring.
Don't recall.
You know, that's what I thought. But all right, so you talk about the SummerSlam ones. You got the elites, but so like, what made you? I mean, obviously he's one of your favorites, but like, is that the reason why you just started going down the Scott Hall rabbit hole, or was there a particular figure that you saw where then after that you're like, I need to get more of these?
Well, let's just start off with the first one I got was. What started was the Pop Funko that I got signed from him, but that was also a payday for a show. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty sick payday. That was the same time I got to drive him around for a weekend.
Yeah. As a
So, like,
refresher,
that
did you get to smoke weed with him?
I did not because I was being responsible, but he definitely smoked weed and drank beer in my front seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
uh, while driving, and literally picked up some sushi from Giant Eagle on the way home.
He wasn't driving.
No,
He
I was driving.
Yeah, to be clear,
I was
he wasn't-
driving. Razor Ramon was sitting in the passenger seat drinking.
Okay, all right, yeah.
smoking
Just to be clear,
and eating sushi.
because then it becomes a whole different podcast. If it's a podcast where you're sitting with Razor Ramon while he's drinking and driving and smoking weed, like that's not a
I
good
was like,
situation.
hey man, you're keeping me in good. I don't know, good travel, dude.
Jeez, say goodbye to the bad guy at that point. Good God.
Jeez.
All right.
But that was basically the start of getting like Scott Hall stuff, and I don't the WrestleMania 10, like I had that loose and the Shawn Michaels from that, so like that kind of just threw me down the rabbit hole of like getting more Scott Hall stuff, especially because
And so when you say you had those loose, you're talking about the old Jax
yeah
set that came out?
yes.
Do you still have that?
I thought I did, dude. I literally thought I kept those two out of that bin. There's a
Yeah.
bag that we have hiding somewhere with that Triple H, with that Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
with that Razor Ramon,
Yeah.
somewhere in here.
Yeah,
I know that because I
have-
kept those two.
Guys, we have a lot of shit that we're sorting through in this house. And it's going to be a really cool house that
Eventually.
perhaps maybe we'll do something on Patreon where you could stop by and hang out with us and see our toy room in the basement and our bar area and maybe work out in our gym or our theater/living room. I mean, it's going to be dope. But
Probably do that if you do like some sort of drawing.
Maybe,
Or something.
possibly, a sweepstakes of sorts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay, so you start going down the Scott Hall rabbit hole. Is there a
I can't say that there's like a specific one that I was like a Scott Hall figure that I
Yeah.
was like, I definitely should start going down more of this rabbit hole.
well, I will say that your collection is getting pretty impressive. But you know what, that WrestleMania 10 2-pack, I'm not blown away by it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't buy that one.
I'm not blown away by it, but it is sweet because you obviously like once you open it, if people have seen it, it's literally just like one side open, the other side opens.
It's essentially the WrestleMania 10
yeah.
entranceway.
Yeah, and they literally just have Shawn and Razor on the ladder, but like loose.
But see, I got nitpicky. What did I tell you that I didn't like about it?
I forget.
The dog shit Intercontinental
The
Championships
title, yeah.
that they include, because Mattel, you're usually a stickler for details, but you got lazy, okay? And you fucking repurposed new Intercontinental Championships with like the WWE current logo on it, and that's not accurate.
Just throws it away.
That's not accurate. I don't like that. And Mattel's usually really because that's what makes the Mattel figures good. They get really niche with things,
Mm-hmm.
and also, I mean, they release guys that, like, you know, even 10 years ago you'd be like, no one's gonna buy this figure, but like it's become more of an adult market than a kid market. Like, Gargano got real pumped when they were releasing the Goon action figure. Okay, and I was like, why? Like, who cares about the Goon? He's like, dude, whoever thought there was gonna be a Goon action figure? I'm like, I mean, fair. But
That's
like,
true.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's so many like dumb things. Like, what kid in 2003 would have wanted a brown tights HBK? Now I definitely have brown tights HBK Elite
True.
that they came out with. Because again, the only elites I'm buying are like gear specific ones. So I bought like Shawn Michaels Survivor Series 2002, Randy Orton from when he won the belt in 2004, that
Mhm.
Elite. The Cody defining moments, I bought that because of the pec tear that they have on it. So to coincide with that, I bought the Seth Rollins Dusty Rhodes gear because that's where he wore in Hell in a Cell, and like that match was like an instant classic. So it's like if it's a cool gear, I'll buy it, but it's mostly Ultimates for me. Back to the Scott Hall thing real quick, and then we'll move on. If there's like is there like a Scott Hall? It doesn't even have to be a figure, like a Scott Hall item that you're like, that's kind of like, that would be my crown jewel for my Scott Hall collection. Because for me, as you know, my Hasbros are my pride and joy. And I never thought I'd get it. But for $600, I got that mail-away Hulk Hogan a few months back from a guy. Which, if anybody out there knows, yes, $600 for any toy is insane. but this usually goes between $1,000 and $1,200. And I had sold some things, and so I was like, you know what? I'm buying this fucking figure because I could die tomorrow.
Probably would have went up too.
Well,
if you
yeah.
didn't at that time.
I mean, listen again. 20 years ago, when I was rebuying my collection, I saw it for $100. I was like, I can't spend $100 on this figure, and I regret it every day of my life. I regret that I didn't buy 10 of those for $100. But is there a Scott Hall piece that you're looking for?
What was the? It was the black NWO one that it was pretty expensive. I'm pretty sure it was short hair, has the bandana, black and white trunks.
Tied in the front?
I think so.
It's just an Elite?
I think so, yeah.
That's like how much is it? I feel like there's got to be a cooler Scott Hall item than that.
I mean, I haven't really went into deep into it because I know if I do, that means my bank account would be low.
That's also true, but it don't hurt to look, brother.
That's true.
All right. Well, if you guys have any Scott Hall or Razor Ramon merchandise that maybe you want to tempt Zach Thomas with, make sure to slide him in his DMs.
Yeah, feel free.
The other thing that we've really bonded on is Ninja Turtles. We've acquired quite the Ninja Turtle collection over the past few months. I collected all the Mutant Mayhem stuff. That was a great movie. It really revived my love for Ninja Turtles. I feel like it's the best turtle movie since the original. And, also, too, had to be kind of competitive competing with Johnny Gargano because he started buying them, too. So I'm like, well, I got to keep up. I can't have buyer's remorse and not do it. But you know what? I'm only 5 episodes in. I'm really liking this Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sequel series. I feel like you're on the same page with that.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I already finished it.
You already finished it?
Yeah, man.
Don't spoil anything,
I won't.
you fucker. But all in all, what do you think about it?
Well, I think it's good. I think if they're doing another season, it would definitely be worth it for people.
What do you like about it? Like for you, what separates it from other Ninja Turtles things that you watched? And once you say, I'll give my opinion on it.
Well, I kind of like the aspect where, like, on the old movies, they really you obviously just have a grown ass adult, playing the turtle characters, and they're teenagers. You know what I mean? But this one, you literally have like teens or little kids. I don't know how old they are.
I think they're like 15,
in that.
16.
Yeah. So you have teenagers actually playing the characters, which is cool. But also, when you go from the movie aspect to the show aspect, the graphic you could tell it's different. Like, it's not movie quality, and I kind of like it because it's more so like a comic.
When you say not movie quality, you mean like it's not done in the exact style of the most recent movie?
Yes. But overall, I think I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
What I like about it is, like, I feel like, so I didn't watch any of the Turtles in the 2000s, which I hear, from my understanding, like the 2003 series is kind of worth watching. Like, it's pretty dark.
That was mine, yeah.
So I feel like at some point I need to go back and watch that. But the original Turtles, well, obviously that's what got most people hooked on Turtles. It's not like episodic, right? You don't have to watch every episode to like know what's going on. I like with this new series, it's more of like an episodic format. You can follow each episode in a narrative fashion, but also without spoiling anything. I think the way they start this show, and it's a direct sequel from the movie, so you probably should watch the movie first. They started by having the first 4 episodes focus on one singular turtle so that you can kind of understand their character and like who they are as a turtle without their brothers.
Yeah, because when they were talking about releasing it, I first thought it was legitimately going to be like each one of them had their own show type thing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they kind of put it together. And going back to like where you said the episodic thing, I guess I never processed that. It was just an episode. It never continued. It was always just that one and done.
Yeah, you could just pick any
Back
episode
then.
and just watch it and you're fine. You're not going to be lost or anything.
Yeah, that's wild.
I also like that I appreciate. So, like, how many movies, cartoon movies over the years, ended up becoming a TV series, but then they didn't have the same voices or the characters, right?
Yeah.
What I enjoy is that if there was a character in Mutant Mayhem that they couldn't get the voice actor for, they're just not on the show. Like, they do a bit with Splinter because they couldn't get Jackie Chan, where Splinter is like talking rat gibberish.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't ever have to have Splinter actually talk, which, again, I think that's really cool that they, like, you're not going to have Paul Rudd in it as Mondo Gecko because couldn't get Paul Rudd. But they got Post Malone, and they have, like, new people voicing characters like, oh, Jesus, why am I forgetting his name? What's his face from SNL? He's not in SNL anymore. And he was dating that Kardashian for a little bit. Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson's doing a voice on there, and a lot of little guest star cameos. But I feel like Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's worth your time. I think maybe if you don't have Paramount Plus, you should get a free subscription and watch it.
The only flop is the intro.
The intro's not good. I like the vibe of the song, but it's there's no lyrics to it. It's just kind of
I feel like every past one has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this had nothing. Like,
no. But also, again, like, if you didn't take the time to watch Mutant Mayhem, I feel like you're missing out, because I love that, like, one of the big things is, like, focusing on, like, the coming of age story of the Turtles, and, like, their goal is to go to high school. It's like they want to be actual teenagers, accepted. And I get kind of, with the mutant aspect, vibes of, like, X-Men, right? Like, fighting to be accepted and wanting to fit in despite being different, And of course, like most movies where, you're trying to be a hero, obviously at the end of the movie, they kind of get a little bit more accepted, and I don't know, like, it's still like they're finding themselves because they're teenagers. I really don't feel like any of the other series focused on that, because while they're teenage in name, they always come off as kind of like just immature grown men who are in really good shape.
Yeah, just already went through life.
Yeah, and also, like, they refer to Splinter as Dad in this one, which is like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really intrigued to see how this show ends, because I would imagine, I don't know if they're gonna do a second season right away, because I feel like this was probably the setup to go into, again, don't spoil anything for me, but I feel like it's probably setting up the sequel, because I know there's a sequel greenlit, so
right,
we're gonna be getting that again. But it's fun stuff. What are you enjoying in your pro wrestling television right now? What are you liking?
What am I liking?
Yeah, on the TV.
The fact that Roman Reigns came back's great.
Yeah.
Tongaloa Botchin's great.
I feel like he's kind of leaning into it now.
I mean, honestly, maybe they're probably just like, hey, man, go out there, do what you do best.
Go back and watch him this past Friday on SmackDown when he's holding up the championship in the ring. Like, I feel like even that, he was like, either he doesn't know how to hold a championship title above his head, or he's literally like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to look like an idiot while I hold this belt. Like, it's what, you went to SummerSlam?
Oh yeah,
that was
great.
Fun.
That was awesome.
Fun. We got to be on the floor for that. Super cool.
Yeah.
Was that the best seats you've ever had for a wrestling show?
Well, I would say a pay-per-view show.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think we've definitely been floor like that for a Raw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Raw that we went to.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, like, that's also like my first stadium show.
Yeah, it's an experience.
It's a different experience. Like, even though it was SummerSlam, it felt like Mania.
Yeah.
Because all the people in that, like, especially leaving afterwards, and like you looking from the inside of the stadium to the street, and you just seeing a sea of people.
What a pain in the ass. Yeah. Well, it didn't help that the Guardians played that night.
The bars were open.
The bars were
parties.
Open, but also Martin Lawrence was down at
the Haktua girl.
Well, she was in the stadium,
was there.
But she had an event too. But like, yeah, Martin was at Quicken Loans, so I mean, there's probably like 80,000 people if
Yeah.
not more, downtown in the same general area. So it was a bitch.
Everybody probably had the same thought. Oh, SummerSlam's running. Everybody's going to be in town. Might as well try to make some money somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going back to the wrestling, I love the Wyatt Six stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I just I can't wait for Bo to start wrestling though.
Yeah, they're really
'Cause-
milking that, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't know, me and Atticus were talking where it's like we want to figure out. Our thoughts are like, is he gonna wrestle in that? What he wears? Is he gonna have like the mask stay on type thing?
I don't
like,
think the mask will stay on because the other guys have taken off the mask, right?
That's true. However, I feel like because Atticus has pointed out that there's been. If you look closely, it looks like the masks have been different sometimes when he does like the run-ins versus just the stationary sitting or something.
Sure.
And it seems tighter and like a better fit. I don't know. But also Chad Gable stuff, even though it's like kind of coincide. But
Man,
like,
he's so good, dude.
he's really good. Like
Yeah.
when he was facing Gunther for the Intercontinental title, like not that that's when I started to like him, but like that just like proved to everybody like he's a freaking animal.
Yeah, he's like a modern Kurt Angle, and like, you know, what not a lot of people don't realize is they just think he has like this Olympic background, but he was heavy in the tape trader community back in the day. He did backyard wrestling, like hardcore backyard wrestling,
shit.
like not hardcore wrestling, but
Yeah,
like,
but like, you
but
know.
like he was like on like whatever that website that like guys like Ricky and Flip Kendrick and Pac were on, like
Mhm.
like he was on like that website where he would travel to backyard wrestling. Like he was
That's wild.
that's why he does the what you call it, the fucking rolling German. What
I forget.
why is the name escaping me? All this brain damage is really catching up to me, but you know what I'm talking about. Like that's why he does that. He was doing it back on the in the backyard.
Mhm.
Now he gets to do it on WWE television.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean the product's been great. And do you feel more or less jaded being a wrestler and watching the product right now? Because like for some reason I never thought that I could feel this much like a fan again.
I was gonna say like since the Roman Cody feud has started,
Yeah.
but like even a little bit before that, I guess when Triple H started actually having control is when I feel like everybody just started to fall in love with wrestling because it just, I don't know, the stories just were so captivating and got everybody's attention.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Something that they did last week, a lot of people were talking about, the Bronson Reed Seth Rollins thing. I think that was a really good attack angle.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was done perfect. It felt very Attitude Era-esque. In thinking about that, you know, for someone younger that's watching that, that might be very dramatic to watch Seth Rollins, quote unquote, internally bleeding and stuff. Was there like a beatdown like that for you as a kid where it was like, oh my God, this is horrible? Because I remember for me it was like when Earthquake squashed Hogan. Like that was like, and the way they did the video packages back then, like they did a video package for Hogan that was ahead of its time where it was like, they did an orchestra version of Real American, and at the end of the video package, as they're playing all this stuff in slow motion, like his career highlights, they show a locker with Hulk Hogan's shirt and his bandana in it, and then the locker, like at the end of the song, it shuts as if like he's done. He's never coming back. And I remember I cried as a kid. So was there like an angle like that for you where you're just like, oh, geez?
The one that would vividly stick out would be Zach Allen getting murked from Brock.
That got you emotional?
Not emotional, but
Yeah.
like you said, a traumatizing moment. I
Yeah.
mean, the dude literally beat the shit out of him in front of his own mother.
Yeah.
And fucking in a bloodbath, dude.
That was crazy. You know, his mom wasn't supposed to jump over the guardrail.
Oh, no?
No, but she did. Yo, his mom rules, dude. Like, she's just like that in real life. She's a badass.
I couldn't. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
You imagine someone's mom just hopping over, like, and just beating your ass on
Well,
live TV?
well, yeah, I mean, like, because again, with parents, it's like blurring that line between reality and fiction. It's like, you know, I was just telling someone recently, talking about dad, like, you know, him always do all fake wrestling shit, but watching him more than anybody, you know, I knew that didn't like wrestling. and I was talking about the time Dad went to Old Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
One of the rare times he went to a wrestling show, and I had to do something with Ricky, where Ricky came in the ring and like beat the shit out of me. Do you remember this story?
Yeah.
So fucking Ricky goes to like run through the crowd, and so fast forward, we get to the back, and like Ricky's like, man, some motherfucker tried to trip me when I was running through the crowd, almost fell and fucking landed on my face. So then like after the show, I see Dad, and he goes, hey, you know that guy came in the ring and beat the shit out of you? Fucking tripped him.
Yeah,
Fucking
he tripped him on the way back
Yeah.
after he beat you
Yeah,
up.
and I was like, dude, that's my actual friend, and he's like he's beating the shit out of you, man. I had to do something. I was like, he's my friend. It was planned, dude.
Hey, man, he just had to help out, man.
Oh my god. We just did Dad's old room in the house, and we started to finally turn it into an office. Are you still like? Is it still hard to process everything like the changes like that? Because I have moments sometimes where I think about them, and then I think about him for a long time to where it's like I start to convince myself that he's still around, but then I realize he's not, and it's just like I don't know. Everybody deals with shit like that in like a different way, and like so then I try to like focus on the positives, like well, like we're making good out of this house and stuff, and blah blah blah. But I miss him. I miss him more than I would have thought.
Well, it don't get easier. Everybody says it does, but that's a bullshit lie. I don't know. I just feel like every day I feel like it's worse for me, in a sense, and it sounds fucked up, but like every night I go to work and basically drive the same truck he was driving. Mm-hmm. I also work at the same place he was.
Yeah.
I have to switch the phone over to his phone number every night.
Yeah. Well, so
it's more like
where you work basically, like, Dad was actually well liked there, and he helped get you a job there, and so there was a phone that he used all the time, which they didn't just get rid of the phone.
Yeah, like they literally just gave it to the other dude that works there.
Yeah. And
literally just to switch over my phone to his, you got to put in the number, so it's like I knew it by heart regardless, so like it's weird. Yeah. But also just random stuff, songs, we'll play and be like, oh shit, like Iris from the Goo Goo Dolls, like, because he would always play those songs, like, I don't know. Yeah,
I would like to think that even though we've definitely made the house into for me a sober frat house, because there's definitely a lot going on in here. I don't know. I'd like to think that he's happy that we're getting along.
Yeah.
I don't know how he'd feel about the toys in the office. The dollies.
Yeah, the dollies,
as he would call them.
Action figures, buddy.
But I'd like to think he's happy, and I think he'd be happy that we're teaming up and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a really cool evening in the Burrowing Eagles Club when we wrestled Ricky Shane Page and Vince last month, and I really do hope that we get to do more of that at Ruthless Pro Wrestling, and
possibly Flophouse again.
Flophouse Wrestling, take the act on the road a little bit. It's nice because I'm the little guy like flying around, and then you can be the big guy that throws me around.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think you're like deceptively strong.
Yeah, it's weird.
Do you even realize your own strength sometimes?
No. You and Mike always just make it seem like I am, and then you guys can't do something, then I do it, and then it's like, I guess I am. I don't know.
What sticks out to me is like one time, like me and Dad got into it in the basement here in the last couple years, and he was like in my face, ready to fight me, and I was not gonna fight Dad. He's done that on and off for years since I was a teenager, where he like wants to challenge me to a fight. And I'm not going to fucking fight my dad. It's fucking stupid. And literally, you came downstairs. And you just physically, like, grabbed him around the waist and then carried him all the way upstairs. And there was literally nothing you could do about it.
I forgot that part.
Yeah, you carried him like over your shoulder upstairs like a small child, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah, but then he still came back downstairs.
Yeah, but still, like the fact that you carried him all the way
That's
upstairs,
true.
like what the fuck?
That's
dude?
true. I don't know.
Like it's not like he's a small guy.
I guess I use my anger for my strength.
Yeah. Where do you? We'll wrap it up shortly because it's late, and I definitely needed to record something for the show without Aaron, so I thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
what do you in wrestling, like when you're trying to get in the zone for your character and stuff? Grimey, Zach Thomas. Are there things that you look to channel things for your character, things that resonate with you? Like, what do you think about when it comes to what you do as a character? Because like, for me, I always think like, obviously, a large part of who I am is based on me in real life, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, I use my real life experiences, depending on the situation, to go to certain places as a character. So for you, like, what places do you go to find who Grimy Zach Thomas is?
I guess I go into far back into my brain to find the trauma that is the worst, right?
Oh, boy.
And
This is pro wrestling, folks.
yeah, I'm more so, I don't know. I think I just play off of when someone thinks of Grimy, I don't mean it to be, oh, I'm a disgusting person that doesn't shower or
Yeah.
is just found sleeping on the fucking street. No. What I mean by that is I'll do whatever it takes, just like I have my whole life, to try to survive between a person, whatever the stakes may be, you know what I mean? Like, whatever I have to do, like, whether it be cheating, this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, right? But, I don't know. That's a hard question.
Well, like, give me something like traumatic that you have used in the past to be like this particular moment or situation. Like maybe I can somehow take something from that and apply it to wrestling. Like for me, it wasn't part of the plan to be like, oh, childhood abuse and crackhead mom. Like that stuff wasn't like, I didn't go into wrestling thinking like, yep, that's my character. But as I began to wrestle and like try to figure things that I related to, I was like, I think that's my character because like no one else talks about things like this. So like,
Right.
I guess that's who I am.
I think more so I'm just like, the grimy aspect don't even pay attention to an aspect right now.
Okay.
I feel like
All right.
me as a wrestler is just like, just me. I take myself, whether it be serious, joking or not, and I just throw it out there. And yeah, I poke fun in the matches, but when it comes time to be serious, I'm serious, you know?
You're loud.
Yeah. Very aggressive.
You are.
I think that's what I mean. I guess like I take my frustration out on life. Like, I know this sounds wild, but wrestling is an escape from reality, but also something that I love to do. And it sounds weird because people put their trust in each other, but I go in there just being aggressive, dude. Like, I make sure that my presence is known to the person, but also to the fans.
What's got to be believable, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't like, you don't want to go out there and half-ass it. You're not actually trying to hurt somebody in a pro wrestling match, but you want people to walk away going like, the little things. Again, we've talked about it so much on this show because we love talking about wrestling psychology. But sometimes those little things, like hammering in those shots in safe spots and showing legit power and strength like you have, like being louder than usually anybody on the show, like being vocal to where like when I try to be vocal, it's got to be quiet because or I'm going to lose my fucking voice. Like, but you are just naturally loud. Like, but those little things, like, I think that's what creates emotional investment because I think the average person that comes to a wrestling show, like, again, you always have to think about it like it's their first time at a wrestling show. If they see some fucking phony baloney kicks and punches, they're checked out.
Yeah.
Why would they give a shit? So, like, I really feel like there's, like, a strong believability factor with what you do.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that. I mean, I feel like I'd rather make it more believable than, like you said, it be hokey, and then no one even, like, you paid for the show, but it ain't a show if you ain't seen what you want to see.
Yeah.
You know?
When the 440 opportunity presented itself, was that something you thought was ever going to happen, or was that something that you wanted to happen, or?
I was bitter, to be honest, throughout it all.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is.
Why were you bitter?
Because I just see everybody that I came through wrestling with was brought up, but then I was nowhere even in the bubble, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, listen, when we did the promo to put you in 440, I mean, that's rooted in realism. You know,
Yeah.
There's a lot of animosity between both sides, particularly with all of us on the one side and Ricky. So when I said, you should have been in this group from the beginning, and it was Ricky that was stopping you, that's real life. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that promo. First of all, I don't think most people realize that we're brothers, and so, like, we had to kind of establish that in that promo. But also, I think once we did, that H2O crowd that we're in front of for Ruthless, it was in the H2O building, I think they got quiet because they were listening, because we were creating emotional investment. But it was emotional investment based on realism, right?
Yeah.
And when it's real, you feel it, and they felt it, and I think it was a good way to set the wheels in motion for you to be a part of this thing.
Oh, for sure. And, I mean, I guess it's better than never, right? I'm definitely grateful to be in 440.
Yeah. It's keeping us busy, right? And but this house is keeping us busy, and life is keeping us busy. It's crazy to think the year's almost over. What do you want to do with the remainder of 2024, and what are your goals with pro wrestling going forward? I mean, things change as we change as people. Like, what's your mindset at as far as your wrestling career?
Travel more. I mean, since Dad passed, I just kind of, like, dumbed down a lot. So it's kind of like, I guess, hitting the road a little bit here and there is, like, cool, but it's not the same. Like, I gotta put more forth effort, if anything.
Do you have a particular place you want to end up? A place you want to go, a promotion you want to wrestle for?
I mean, I've been there multiple times, but if ESW ever happens, where the fuck else? I want to go to Canada at some point. Like, I already have my, like, whatever license that didn't even get me over the damn border. But apparently I have to have that and my birth certificate, so that's good. All I got to do is find a booking now, basically.
Well,
or get a passport.
Yeah.
Because that'll probably be the easiest. Because you can either have either or. The information, like your license and the birth certificate, or just the passport.
Yeah. Well, there's some great promotions up in the Ontario area, and I'm sure they'd be happy to use you.
Oh, Alpha One.
Alpha One's great.
That
yeah.
was one a long ass time ago that I wanted to go to.
Well, maybe I could put in a good word for the old Ethan Page. I mean, I guess I'd have to put in a word for myself first, because
that's true.
I haven't been back to Alpha One since the pandemic, and I was like the second to last heavyweight champion there. So what the hell's going on? But hey, it's been a good show, and I feel like if anybody wants to book you or learn more about you, I feel like they should contact you on your social media. So what are your social media accounts if someone wanted to follow what Grimey Zach Thomas was doing?
On Twitter and or X, whatever you want to call it, it's Zach_Thomas_21. And Instagram, Zach_Thomas21. And then Zach Thomas on Facebook.
Sounds like a plan, and I guess that's it for this week. we're going to do a bonus episode over on Patreon. I will probably record that on Thursday night. I'll have some downtime, but I'm going to answer your questions from the Patreon subscribers. I believe there are a couple questions from some regular social media users, and we'll answer that on Patreon as well. So, hey, maybe you should sign up for the Patreon. Check it out. $3 to start to get you the bonus audio. Patreon.com/IronOnWrestling. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's growing. It's changing. And we're doing good things there. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Audible, wherever you download podcasts. Follow me on social media. I'm Gregory Iron on X, Gregory_Iron on Twitter, or Instagram, I'm sorry, Facebook.com/TheHandicappedHero. You can message me there to book me for pro wrestling, motivational speaking, or pro wrestling seminars. Cameo, if you'd like a shout out of some sort. I could wish you, is there a holiday coming up? Labor Day? Happy Labor Day. If you know someone that's going into labor.
You're ready to go back to school, kids.
If you're going back to school and you need me to give you a pep talk about what to do and not to do as far as education goes, I'm available on Cameo. ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron for my shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron on Wrestling shirts, Rod Destiny shirts if you're into that thing. If you need, some frustration in your life, go check out a shirt there. There's a lot of shirts that are out of print that we will never, ever print again unless you go to Pro Wrestling Tees. And that's it. Until next week, hopefully Aaron will be back and not dead from COVID. Bless up. #blessed. Prayers for Aaron. Why are you looking like that right now? You got a weird look on your face.
I was just
These are
what you were saying.
These are the things that kids are saying. Gang.
I think you're a little couple years behind.
I know the dealio.
Okay, that's definitely
What?
way behind.
What?
For sure.
Oh yeah, show me your modern slang. What you working with?
I don't use it, but what they say nowadays is Riz. Do you got Riz, bro, or Aura? You got some Aura?
Listen. I got a girlfriend.
What the hell does that mean?
But if I didn't, they'd be like, Greg, you're giving me too much of those Riz crackers. Okay, all right. That's how much I got. I gotta put them on a bunch of crackers, Riz crackers. All the girls be flocking.
Yeah, next thing you know, they'll be calling you the Rizzler.
No, I hate that kid. You know who that kid is?
Yeah.
Fucking hate him, dude. Johnny showed me the Rizzler, and I was like, this. He does a thing where he fucking grabs his chin.
Yeah, dude.
Do not look up the Rizzler. Do not. He fucking sucks. He's an idiot. He's a fucking like.
He says he fucking sucks, but it's a little kid, dude.
He's like he's like fucking 10 and he looks like he's 45 in the face. Okay, and his name is the Rizzler. All right, fuck him. I don't care. It's the end of the show. Come back next week. Go to Patreon. We're actually gonna post some of our toy stuff this week too, so that'll be a bonus for you. Maybe some video. Definitely some audio and
hey, make Greg do this because I've said it multiple times. When he gets new figures and stuff, do you guys want to see unboxings?
Yeah, I have done that.
Needs to do more.
I need to get
he gets a lot more figures.
I need to get a better mic and we can do a whole tour of my toy section at some point. But that's it. We're done. Come back next week, and until then, I know it's kind of not on brand with people in Ohio, but we have to do. Oh, kiss goodbye. Wow, you jumped all over me. Hey, get off of me. Hey. All right. I like that a little too much.
Embrace the now. Every day, Zach, he's a big bitch, walks with pride, with a head so big it's hard to hide. You little bitch thinks he's tough, he's got that mud butt strut, but deep down inside he's stuck in a rut. Zach